Modern Dadhood. Modern Dadhood podcast.
Give me some levels.
It's a little low.
Is there a little volume button on that thing? All right,
Go.
here we go.
How do we do it? It's been a while.
How
do we do this?
I don't even remember how we go about recording an episode of the podcast.
Of which podcast?
Well, of Modern Dadhood, of course. An ongoing conversation about the joys, challenges, and general insanity of being a dad in this moment. My name's Adam Flaherty. I'm a dad of two daughters who are 9.5 and 6.5. And they are just like blowing my mind on the regular. And you, sir?
Me. Excuse me. I'm still choking on that last sip of Oktoberfest. My name's Marc Checkett, and I'm a dad, and I have twin borfs. Hold on.
Twin borfs.
I have twin borfs. They're boys, and they're 5.5 years old. There we go. I got it.
5.5.
The other day, my son, one of them came in to the room after a day at camp, and he referred to me as bro, and put his hand out, and he said, "Yo, dap me up, bro."
I don't even know what that means.
I was floored.
Is that a thing? Dap me up? D-A-P?
Yeah, forgive me if any listeners, if I'm saying it wrong. I believe it's dap. Okay, as opposed to dab, which is something else. It's one of these. It's like, I had to do a hand motion, but it's like you slap, you kind of clasp, and then you like a nice, sometimes you can bring it all the way in, do the hand on the back too.
So it's essentially just saying, give me a high five, but then sort of lock it in and maybe do an extra gesture.
Yeah, I believe it's cooler than saying, give me a high five.
Okay.
I don't know. That's what my 5-year-old son said to me after camp one day.
Well, I learned something today. Well, so we should get into the formalities and just say, first of all, I feel like we owe our listeners, those who listen somewhat regularly, like maybe an apology.
You think we should say that we're sorry for having neglected?
We ghosted
them.
We
for
ghosted.
a few weeks.
Life got in the way, and you and I didn't even have the courtesy to put up an Instagram graphic.
No, but you did ask me to make one twice. And I think both times I said, yeah, that's a great idea. Let me do that.
Anyway, it was inexcusable that we disappeared the way we did. We've got some cool topics. We've got some cool guests coming up. And look, I don't know about you, Mark, but I'm recommitting to this.
I wasn't going to until you just said that
you were all done. You were totally out. Damn,
no,
man.
I didn't know. In all seriousness, I have been missing the show big time because we say it a lot, but I think it bears repeating because it's true. This is super cathartic for us. So much has been going on, lots of ups and downs. The whole summer has gone by is what it feels like since the last time you and I got together. It's been a month. It's been a month, right?
Yep.
But it's been a summer month. We're now going back to school. So many big changes. And there's been so much that I've needed to talk about and like process. And I mean, I have a wife. Like we talk sometimes, but I need time with you. I need some topics, I need some deep conversation with a microphone and headphones. And I haven't been getting it, man. I need it bad.
Well, we're back now. And for anybody who hasn't heard the podcast before, welcome. You can find all the episodes. You can search by topic or by guest at moderndadhood.com. You can also subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. That might be Apple. It's probably Apple Podcasts, but it could be Spotify or Amazon Music or any of the others. Just search Modern Dadhood. Oh, the other thing is that we're not experts. We are a couple of doofus dads who are figuring it out as we go, and we like talking to other interesting dads, and sometimes they are experts and often they are not. So that's what this podcast is all about, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Today's guest is a personal friend of mine. His name is Scott Mazuzan. He is a certified financial planner. He can talk more if he chooses about what he does professionally. But the reason that I wanted to have him on the podcast is because he's been on my list a long time, because he's a friend, because we always make each other laugh, and we can talk forever about the crazy, ridiculous things that our kids do. And our kids happen to all be friends with each other too, which makes it fun.
That's nice.
We will introduce Scott in very soon and get talking about back to school stuff.
I feel like I need to describe Adam a little bit to the listeners right now. Adam's wearing a trucker hat that's Kelly green. The bill is Kelly green, and the
favorite color.
The front is apparently Adam's favorite color. The front part says it's white, and it has serif typeface, and it says "Lucky AF" on it. Which, if you're in the know, means what, Adam?
My initials are Adam Flaherty.
But it all, that's true. But it also means,
it means like lucky as fuck.
Well, there you go. That's it. And he's drinking what looks like mead out of a stemless wine glass that has, what is that? There's
Into
a
this little
ditzy pattern of
stemless
unicorns.
wine glass.
And your shirt says, "Stay cool."
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's on brand. Listen, since it's been a while since you and I have caught up, okay?
Yeah.
We've neglected our guests, but the fact of the matter is we've neglected one another as well. So I thought we could do just a very quick catch-up session that I would like to call the rapid-fire catch-up session.
I like it.
How do you feel about this so far?
I think let's do it. How does it work?
We go back and forth and I will just say something that has happened in the past month to catch you up, but there's no time to add context and story and all that kind of crap, because nobody has that time. Let's be honest.
Okay.
Nobody has that kind of time.
One word or one
Just
phrase or one sentence?
Word, a phrase, just a quick hit, high level TLDR. This is what has happened over the last month.
Yeah, let's give it a try.
You go first.
Whiskey fungus.
Whew. And I think the other thing here is that we're not supposed to ask each other for the context. And you know what? I wouldn't anyway. Let's see. I got a brand new mechanical keyboard that has RGB lights on it.
You gave me a full statement that requires no context. I thought the whole thing was there's not supposed to be context. It leaves you wanting more.
Well, you can't ask any questions about that. And some of our listeners might have questions, for example.
Well, let me go back and
is it
let me
a
go back and
full-size
craft
keyboard? Is it a full size or is it a 65% layout? See, those are the questions that our guests are going to, our listeners are going to have that they're never going to get the answer to, because I'm not going to go into it.
Well, let me at least go back and craft mine into a sentence.
Is it the full RGB spectrum? It's not just white, right?
Wait, I thought you got a CMYK keyboard.
I can't answer that question.
I'm going to go back and turn mine into a statement, which is I have been spending every waking moment when I'm not working on the topic of whiskey fungus.
See, there's
which
still
probably still
there's
demands.
still a lot of questions there, but go on. What's your next one?
No. Oh, my next one?
Yeah.
Oh, my next one is just my kids are deep into fashion lately.
Okay. I tore my right quadricep muscle.
No. And all of me wants to ask how.
Can't do it. Next.
I think probably my last one is that there have been a lot of visits from the tooth fairy lately to my house. A lot of little teeth around.
My last one is I took a pilgrimage to Louisville, Kentucky to tour distilleries.
Did you see any whiskey fungus?
No, that's something I'm going to have to Google. Oh, wait.
You did because you saw black. You saw blackness all over the distilleries and the barrel houses and every railing, every white PVC, anything.
And it's a very interesting thing because it only exists in the right environment, which is in and around distilleries because of the high alcohol content, the additional CO2 that's around. I knew it sounded a little familiar.
Well, listen, thanks for that exercise, Mark. You always toss in a surprise, and it was a fun exercise, a nice way to catch up. And now we got a lot of stuff to talk about offline.
Yeah, we do.
Well, let's get into talking about back to school stuff, because I know that, all 4 of our kids just went back to school, and in your kids' case, they went to school for the first time, which I want to hear about. But if you don't mind, I think, why don't we just introduce my friend Scott Mazuzan and he can just get in on the goof with us.
I think we've kept him and our listeners waiting long enough.
I don't have a formal introduction written up, but I will say that Scott Mazuzan is a certified financial planner. That's the credentials after his name on LinkedIn anyway. I know him as a trusting, dependable friend with a great sense of humor. He and his wife have 2 children who are roughly the same ages as my kids. He can share it. So I'm guessing it's 4th grade and second.
So you don't know Scott at all.
Well, I feel like a big dum-dum. I don't know Scott at all.
All right, this was fun. I'll see you guys later.
I'm but I'm very psyched to have you here, Scott. So thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here, and it's been a long time in the making.
So as of this recording, it's the last day of August. I know that my girls went to school. They just got home from their 3rd day of school. What about you guys?
We don't start until September 5th. So we're still in the...
Whoa, what?
We are at the bottom of the summer vacation barrel right now, and nerves are stretched.
How did that happen? We don't live that far from one another. We're both in Maine. How did we go back 3 days ago and you guys...
I don't know.
That's nuts. Like, how does that even happen?
I don't know. I mean, this year our town is doing the day after Labor Day.
Have they vowed to take no snow days this year?
I'm not aware of any such vow.
And Mark, what about you guys?
I think the 1st through whatever grades started earlier this week, but our kids went to kindergarten, are going into kindergarten. They now are in kindergarten, I guess I have to say. And their first full day of kindergarten was today.
Wow.
The big day in the Checkett household. So nerves.
Congrats.
Thank you. Nerves were all over the map. Anxiety was high. There was laughing. There was crying. And that's all just me that I'm describing.
Did were they just totally wiped out tonight?
It was funny. We had them take the bus. We're exploring that as well. So they took the bus. Mm-hmm. They dropped them off right in front of our house, at the driveway. And they get out. And one son was definitely like eyes kind of half shut, glazed over, just hooked his thumbs in his, backpack straps. And he was toasted. You could tell. The other son had thrown his backpack on the ground and was kind of rearing back and going, "I need a snack," and was just hangry. So it was hard to tell exactly where he was, energy wise with that.
Do you think did the anger come on as soon as he got off the bus, or do you think he was yelling on the bus about the snack too?
I know him well enough to know that on the bus, he was exhibiting fantastic behavior.
A gentleman.
Yeah. But I will say this. The kids that came home, we got them a snack. So once they were both eating, I think they both one of them sort of leveled out. The other one kind of perked up a little. And my wife and I it was funny. I was sitting here at my desk working. She's upstairs working. The kids don't get home until 3:45. But at 1, I was like, "When does the bus come?" I was texting her, "When does the bus come? Is it soon?" I wanted them gone. I wanted them to explore kindergarten. I've been looking for this for a long time, but I couldn't stand them being away. with such a monumentous thing, and I wanted them home and I wanted to talk to them and I wanted to know how their days were going. So when they got home and they were sitting at the table, my wife and I were just like firing questions at them, you know, kind of knowing full well that like, okay, we're probably overloading them with these, but they both were just like so excited to talk about their days. They both had great days.
Good.
They had tons of things to say, all very positive things. And they were, did you know this? And what about that? And, you know, we were asking like, did you guys went to the cafeteria for the first time ever? Like, what was that like? And they each had their own little story to tell about that. So it was all the feelings. It was all the feelings all day.
What they have for lunch?
I don't fucking know. You think I listened to their answers?
You didn't ask? You didn't ask what they had for lunch?
No. We packed.
You asked, but you didn't
packed.
ask.
Yeah, we packed them their lunch. So we gave them a little packed lunch. So I knew what they had.
Did you put a note into the lunchbox?
No, there was no note. There was no note in the lunchbox. That's cute though. I always like hearing those stories about the kids that get
gone through phases of doing that. Yeah, but then they come to expect it, and then they're pissed when you don't do it.
Yeah. One pro move is to if you're packing a banana, you can kind of scratch a little message into it.
That's
and
cool.
by the time lunch comes,
sort of tattoo the banana.
Brown.
That's cool. I like that.
But whenever I pack a banana, it's if they don't eat it in like the first hour of the day, it's just brown, and then it just comes home brown and slimy, and then I throw it away. I'm like, I could have saved myself the time by just putting it in the trash when it was ripe.
You don't do that thing where you say, "Oh, we're gonna make banana bread." And stick it in your freezer, and then you have 100 bananas in your freezer.
Oh no, Sarah does that. There's 100 brown slimy bananas in our freezer that will probably never get used.
Reminds me of the Casper Baby Pants song, all about banana bread.
Banana bread.
Scott. Well, this question for both of you, because I don't know if I know, Adam, about your kids, but what do you guys do during the summer? What do your kids do all summer long? Because I said earlier, like we put our kids had a day camp that they went to. 5 days a week from it's like 9 to 4. It's a full day of camp. What about each of you guys?
Well, we sort of had an amalgam of different camps throughout the summer, but nothing consistent and definitely not wall to wall. So we were doing a lot of homegrown entertainment.
Oh boy.
My spouse works.
Dr. Funke's band.
Yeah, good time family band. My spouse works during the school year, but not in the summer. So she took care of a lot of she did a lion's share of the.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Of the entertaining.
That's a lot of entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's the same with us. We are very lucky that Sarah and I both are, work from home sometimes and at the office sometimes. So we had them in some week-long, parks and rec type camps. We also spent some time up in the mountains and got them into an awesome camp up there where they did a bunch of outdoor stuff. And then there were a few weeks where we didn't have coverage, and we just, thankfully, we're in a great neighborhood and we've got a lot of kids around, and so they can kind of go outside and just, if other parents are around too, this group of kids can just bomb around between 3 or 4 yards, and they're at an age where we can kind of let them roam free, at least among that cluster of homes.
That's the life,
are you worried at all that they'll contract any sort of whiskey fungus in their rovings?
I'm more worried about like wild cats or foxes, things like that.
But foxes are so cute. How could you be worried about foxes?
They are adorable, and they love to be pet.
Well,
so Scott, did you guys have to buy your kids like a bunch of new clothes and new backpacks? Is every year, is it just a huge investment of stuff?
Well, you're kind of outing me, I guess, as not a doting parent. We're sending them to school with their existing backpacks and lunch boxes. Yeah, and I didn't think that was a big deal until now. So,
well, I don't mean to make you feel guilty. I mean, if I could have gotten away with that, I would have too. But Sarah falls victim to the.
We've got the LL Bean backpacks. They hold too. Up. But there's definitely some new clothing going on, and supplies. You got the fresh pencil box. When you asked about clothes, I can vividly remember as a young tyke myself, some of the fresh threads from first days of school.
What were some of the fashion statements that you made?
I always played it pretty close to the middle. I didn't take too many risks, but I remember starting high school and really wanting some wide leg jeans, which are fashionable at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't go full Janko, but definitely a good boot cut.
You've had short hair. You've done like the crew cut. You've also had like longer beautiful flowing hair like you do now. Did you ever try any funky hairstyles in elementary school?
No, I saved it all up for when I was almost 40. And this is the first time I've ever had any hair really longer than an inch or so.
This is the midlife crisis style.
Fully embracing the midlife crisis.
Did you ever have long hair, Mark?
I did. Yeah. Probably around the 7th, 8th grade time period, I had hair that was all the same length and kind of went just about down to my shoulders. And I had a tendency to sort of tuck it behind my ears, which then it would do this flip out, sort of Carol Brady flip out thing to the side. Yeah, it was great. Somewhere around then too. Do you guys remember the movie Biodome?
Oh yeah,
the Pauly Shore, Stephen Baldwin movie.
Yep.
Yeah, Stephen Baldwin had these sort of like, it was sort of short on the sides, but then these little short dreads on the top of his head.
Oh boy!
And I saw that movie and begged for so long after that to my mom to let me get that done.
I mean, thank God she didn't let you do it, right?
She did not let me do it. And I will say this, I won't say this about a lot of the decisions that she made for me, but she made the right call then on that one, for sure. I'm thankful for that.
I mean, sometimes you just don't know. Like, this actually is pretty relatable to, like, at least my kids. I'm not sure about you, but like, you think you have an idea of something that you really want to do and you just don't have the life experience to know that it would be a terrible decision. My thing like that was in like 4th or 5th grade. My buddy Tyler and I were really into crisscross. And so like one day I wanted to like wear my clothes backwards to school. Like I want to wear my jeans backwards and my shirt backwards. And I can't remember. I think my mom may have actually like just been like, fine, do it. But it's not memorable enough. Like, obviously, if I did it, it wasn't scarring because I don't remember it. But like, what a dumb fucking thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the time, I probably thought, this is so cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm going to get so much like great attention from this.
I remember a few kids doing that. And me at the time thinking like, God damn.
I hate that kid.
No, no. It was truly like, I can't believe that kid can get away with that. Like, that's just way cool. This is so much cooler than
you
me.
Were you like the audacity?
Yeah.
The incredible audacity.
He really pulled it off.
He really pulled off the backwards pants.
Chris and or
does he
Cross.
Does he look more like Mac Daddy or more like Daddy Mac?
I don't know, but
Were those their names?
I just remember
that was like their stage names. I think they were Chris Kelly and Chris Smith. But they went by like, if you listen to all their lyrics, they refer to themselves as like Mac Daddy and Daddy Mac.
I honestly thought their names were Chris and Cross.
I thought their names were Chris and Cross too.
That's really ignorant.
Well,
both of honestly, shame on both of you.
Well,
nobody's named Cross.
I mean,
I think somebody could be. I think somebody could be named Cross. Okay, I think you're the one that's being ignorant.
Adam,
that's like saying I thought that Goofus and Gallant were named after real people.
I think it was Doofus and Gallant, wasn't it?
You idiot!
It's not Doofus and Gallant. Goofus. You know that.
You know that if you put this on the internet, there's someone named Cross that's going to contact you, and
yeah,
Christopher Cross himself.
My name is Christopher Chris, and I'm suing you for libel.
All right, back to fatherhood. What's been awesome lately? What has been a joy of fatherhood for you lately, Scott?
Man, you had to start with awesome. That's, I think, probably the hardest one.
Well, don't worry, we're going to get to the challenges after.
Yeah. Last week we spent a little time next to a lake, staying on the lake and canoeing and swimming and just doing cool stuff with some other families. And it was just a lot of fun to unwind and watch the kids run around in a pack and do the campfire thing. And it was really special. So that's been a highlight for sure, and a great way to round out the summer.
All right.
What's been tough? What's been a challenge?
So for us, I think the biggest challenge has just been a long summer of the kids being close to one another and just a good amount of bickering, sort of relentless turf wars and competition for resource and attention. And despite the fact that we're willing to provide love and support to everyone evenly, it's always a competition. So it's been a long summer in some ways.
As much as you love them to pieces, are you super psyched to get them out the door to school?
Yeah. And I mean, obviously in the selfish, I can't wait to have a quiet house way, but also because I think it's so good for them to be apart from one another in their peer groups and doing things that are specific to their age and development with their friends and just having some autonomy and independence from their identity as, older or younger sibling in this family of four.
For sure. Marc, how does that, listeners know, Marc's boys are the same exact age, minutes apart.
2
maybe,
minutes.
Right?
Yeah, they're Borfs. I don't know if you're aware.
But they're in different classes in kindergarten?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys make that decision, or was that the school's recommendation? How did that work?
That was our call. They asked, actually, but we had made that decision already, before it even got to that point. Yes. Everything that Scott's talking about, the turf wars and the bickering, and it's just so familiar that especially like during like times of change, like at the beginning of the summer, there was a big change in their routine. They went to camp, which was later in the day. They got home earlier in the evening. Everything at camp was different. At daycare, they still had the opportunity to take a rest in the afternoon. That was gone. It was all new kids. At daycare, they were the oldest kids in the oldest kids group. Now they're in the youngest kids group. Just big, huge changes. And that kind of like boat rocking, is particularly difficult for one of my sons. And that kind of transition has been hard. And now, of course, the same thing is happening. So like after camp began, like about a week, like things were great. But then like a week after that, it was like all the differences I think had sort of caught up. Like it was fun at the beginning, but now the routine that's sort of set in is all different and all this stuff is new. And I think it was just becoming a little bit too much. And so when he would come home at night and then the two of them would just be at each other, and it would just be a lot of like, essentially like nothing was going to make him happy. And he was going to do everything he could to sort of make the whole world bow down to him and like bend at his will. And that's kind of how it's been actually. So for like weeks now, because I think it went from that into us talking about like kindergarten is starting soon and we have to kind of ramp them up for more changes. And I think it was like change on top of change, a little too much for one son in particular, coupled with they're together all the time a lot. So they're back now being separate. I think that's going to be really big for them.
It'll be interesting to see as they get older and, continue through school and have different teachers, that they're going to make their own friends, that is friends with one of them, but, doesn't really know the other one.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see how those dynamics play out when, like, say, a friend of one of them comes over to the house.
Yeah.
To hang out. And
I'm really, really interested in that. I'm very eager to see what that is like and how each one of them sort of finds themselves a little bit more in that process.
It might be one of those nice things where after some time, later in the school year when they've been able to create individual identities a little bit, that they choose to come back together and, meet up in the lunchroom and kind of compare notes. And that happens with my kids sometimes. It's like they'll rediscover each other and kind of do some sort of activity together and team up on us a little bit. And I'm like, good job, guys.
That's cool.
Nice to see you.
That's very cool.
Enjoying each other.
Yeah, I love when we get like a sneak peek of a moment, when they're in a social environment and maybe they don't know that we're paying attention, and we see our 9-year-old, taking care of her little sister a little bit, if her sister's, struggling to fit in with maybe like a group of older kids, or, they're doing an activity together and my younger daughter needs a little bit of help with something, that big sis has got her back.
Makes you feel like you're doing something right.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
It's probably Sarah. Sarah's doing it.
It's probably Sarah.
I'm sure.
Makes you realize that your better half is doing something right. You're along for the ride. She's my better half because she's better than me in literally every way. Yep. Nope. That's the word on the street, man. What was the energy like in your household, Adam? Was it excitement for the new school year? Were there nerves?
There were like a little bit of nerves, just really more from my 6-year-old going into first grade.
That's
so
big, man.
she, they were both used to the bus, they've got friends at school. So it was like a little bit of first day of school jitters for maybe the week or two before, but and then of course the bus comes on the first day and the girls and all the neighborhood kids jump on and they're off.
That's it.
And then they came home, saying it was the best day ever. So
you make them ride the bus so that you can scroll Instagram for an extra hour every afternoon.
yeah, you got it, man.
I was going to ask what the age range on your school bus is. Is it K through?
So it's, I guess, from kindergarten through 4th.
Yeah, same.
I guess. Yeah.
Free for all seating, or do we segment by age group?
That's a good question. I think that kind of depends on the driver. I think that's sort of the driver's decision. And on our bus, I'm pretty sure they can sit wherever they want, unless the kids are being rowdy, and then the bus driver might put different people in specific places.
Kind of playing with fire, though.
Our girls are
do it that way.
Our girls are little angels. They never misbehave.
That's true. We've found that the kindergartners usually ride in the front, and as you go further back, the kids get older. And last year we had a first and third grader, and we found that there was a lot more interesting information being learned on the bus rides.
Well, back by the third grader seats, they're probably like what? They're probably like shooting craps back there, smoking ciggies and stuff. Probably,
yeah,
right?
Sure. Yeah, the bus is full of smoke.
Yeah. I think in the fourth grade seats, they light small fires and they kind of cook food and
survival.
It's just survival. Yeah.
Lord of the Flies.
You've got a lot of young families in your neighborhood, right, Mark?
Oh yeah, we're chock full of young kids in this hood, man. It's going to be, in the next couple of years, it's going to be wild.
Yeah. So do the boys already have friends in the neighborhood, or do you expect that they're going to make a whole bunch of friends from being in school with them?
Both. They do already have friends, and I've mentioned my neighbor across the street on this podcast before, but their daughter went into first grade, and my boys love her. She was we were all standing at their driveway waiting for the bus, and she was giving the kids pointers and was talking to them about how, well, the kindergarten kids sit in the front, so I can't sit with you because I'm a first grader, so I'm gonna sit but I'll be right behind you. She was being so motherly and sweet. It was awesome. And I think that obviously was it was big for the boys because they were nervous.
Well, listen, I want to wish you guys, your families, a very good, happy, low stress, low anxiety school year. I hope that all of our kids thrive this year.
I just had to say thank you. Thank you for inviting me, and you guys crack me up, and it's been a pleasure chatting.
I love you. I adore your family. Your kids are awesome.
Back at you.
I am very happy to have met you. I don't think that I can say I love you yet. I don't think we're there yet. But I can say that it was awesome chatting with you and hanging out with you.
Let's just say we have a provisional love emotion space being reserved for one another.
I like it.
I think that's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, I really like the way you said it.
I don't even think we have time for a recurring this time. So let's
good, because I don't
just
have
roll
one.
through the end credits, Mark. Roll through the end credits fast.
Here's what I'd like to say now. I'd like to say thank you for listening to Modern Dadhood. Please consider leaving a rating and a review wherever you do listen to Modern Dadhood, be it Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. I don't think we can say Stitcher anymore.
Smazcast,
Scott Pod, Spotify, Scottify.
I was a Stitcher enthusiast.
Me too. I was so bummed.
So sad.
Keep going.
Also,
Keep going,
hey,
Mark.
challenge you to
You were on a roll.
Challenge you to tell one friend about the show. Okay, next time you're standing out at the bus stop waiting for your little kiddies to come home from school, talk to the folks next to you. Tell them about the show. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook. I think Facebook is Facebook still a thing? Yeah, just find us on like X and Threads and all the latest shit. Then you can also, go to moderndadhood.com where you can find all of our episodes as previously mentioned. There's a form there. You can send us a note through that form. You can send us a note also through email directly at hey@moderndadhood.com. But listen, before you leave that website, go and check out the shop because we got t-shirts and dad hoodies, as I understand it, because I know the guy who does the packing and the shipping. Pretty sure each one gets sent out with a free sticker. I'd like to say thanks to Casper Baby Pants and Spencer Albee for the fantastic music that you hear throughout every episode. I'd like to say thanks to Pete Morris at Red Vault Audio at redvaultaudio.com. He's the guy that does all the twisty turns and the fadey fades, makes us sound mad professional. Check him out. And I'd like to say thanks to Scott for joining us on the show, who's still here. So I'm just going to say thanks to your face. We usually do the thank you to the guest long after they've gone. So this is a first. So Scott, thanks for joining us today, man.
The thanks are all to you both.
Adam.
Yeah, man.
Adam, why don't you do the final and maybe most important bullet of all of them?
Okay, here we go. Thank you for listening.
Can you take it once more, less creepy?
And thank you, listener, for listening.